4th of July celebrations, President Trump's events went on. Of course, we saw in South Dakota, we saw in D.C., drawing large crowds. Sometimes masks were encouraged and handed out, but not required. Are you worried that these large-scale events could end up being super spreader events?
Yeah, Lindsey, it's hard to believe that we are now in early July and we are seeing not only an improvement but really worsening of the spread of this virus. The pandemic clearly getting worse in the United States, and the thing is, I just want everyone to remember how this virus works, how it's actually affecting and transmitting itself from person to person. It's through respiratory droplets coming out of our mouths or potentially noses and short distances. So if you're less than 6 feet from somebody else, and if you're not covering your nose and mouth, you are at risk for infecting somebody else and getting infected by somebody else. Maybe the only good news about the South Dakota event, Lindsey, was that it was outdoors. But beyond that, not much good can be said because clearly people were stacked close together. And I don't know about you, but the footage I saw, I didn't see too many masks. And to make matters worse, they had a governor who not only did not require the two measures that public health strongly advising the social distancing and the mask. Not only did she not require it, she said, we're not going to require it at all. We're not going to even encourage it. Or maybe she encouraged it. But we need to be sending right now, Lindsey, people sick and dying.
And that's the tough part, is this mixed messaging, because we have some members of the administration saying weigh the risk, don't go to large crowds, and then like the Surgeon General, and then we see the president holding these major events. Only in recent days have we seen some top GOP leaders saying everybody needs to be wearing a mask. So should people be listening to their political leaders, those in charge of policy, or should people be listening to people like Dr. Anthony Fauci, who actually some members of the administration have tried to undermine recently?
That's a great question. I'm glad you framed it that way, Lindsey. This is my message to all of the viewers watching and everyone in the country, especially those who still perceive that they're getting mixed messages. And yes, they are, in terms of certain elected officials are saying one thing, but to be very honest, Lindsey, almost all of the public health professionals and medical professionals are saying the same thing. And so my specific question, in fact, is to people out there, if you have a question about your blood pressure or thyroid or pain medications, do you call your mayor or senator or governor? Or do you call your doctor's office, talk to the nurse, the clinical care manager? I'm going to guess you talk to the latter. Similarly, we are right now experiencing a public health crisis. So the only people really to listen to right now are the recommendations, the strong advisories by public health, medical, and scientific.
No, President Trump said last night that 99% of coronavirus cases are, quote, totally harmless. And the FDA commissioner was asked about it this morning. Let's listen.
Well, I'm not going to get into who's right and who's wrong. What I'm going to say, Dana, is what I've said before, which is that it's a serious problem that we have. We've seen this surge in cases. We must do something to stem the tide.
So you won't say whether 99% of coronavirus cases are, quote, completely harmless is true or false, what the president said at the White House last night.
Dana, what I'll say is that we have data in the White House task force. Those data show us that this is a serious problem. People need to take it seriously.
All right, so clearly not getting a straight answer there. Dr. Roy, can you fact check this for us?
Yes, I'll give you a straight answer, Lindsey. To say 99% are harmless, this is the narrative and the key message that needs to be sent, which is that this is a virus that can truly cause significant sickness and illness and death. Now, the vast majority of cases, and Dr. Fauci has said this, it's on the CDC website, the vast majority of people who get infected are either asymptomatic or experience mild symptoms. That is true. However, to almost downplay it and almost dismissively say, oh, 99%, I mean, that's not the message we need to be sending, Lindsey. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Both cases and deaths are rising in this country. By all measures, in terms of clinical outcomes, we are going in the wrong direction as a nation, Lindsey, and that's the message we should be sending. Take care of yourself and others. I do not leave my home without a mask. And that's the message we should be sending. And our leaders need to lead by example. Every elected official needs to be wearing a mask and telling their constituents to wear a mask and practice physical distancing to keep one another safe, Lindsey.
Dr. Roy, we appreciate you, and I can attest, you were wearing that mask when I saw you before we went on. Thanks so much.
You got it.
It is